Hello everybody, I am Twin Tail Kitsune Clan. Hope you're all having an amazing day or evening so far. So it's going to be a little bit of a different video. This is, you see in the thumbnail or the title, this is a deck profile video of my winning deck for the North American Rebirth for You World Grand Prix. That's why I'm here dressed up as Chiharu instead of the usual Kobato. Gotta represent my best rebirth girl. So, that being said, we're just gonna go ahead and get right into the deck profile here. So, gonna begin with our first entry. It'll be Yu in plain clothes. She has the ability of Skill Showcase level 3. When she supports, you may pay 2 energy to give that attack +2 attack until the end of that battle. So it's very, very nifty to just be able to use spare energy to just go over characters, and if she survives long enough, of course. And then moving from there, we have our 3 partners. We're using the booster pack Shuko's. Shuko's very cute. Partner can be whatever the heck you want. Then moving down the line, we got Morning Moment Shuko. So she has the ability of act once per turn. You may discard a card from your hand to give your entry +1 attack for the entire turn. So this could be pretty handy just like you want to go for like big damage, or you want to go for the finish. That 1 attack could matter when your hand doesn't really have anything too useful to begin with. So this is very, very nice to have. Alright, move along here. We have 4 copies of Yu Higashiyama from the trial deck. So he's very, very similar to the first entry Yu we saw earlier. This one's a little different. So this is when she supports regardless of skill showcase level. You may pay 1 energy to give the supporting attack +1/+0 until the end of that battle. So very, very nifty to just be able to get over characters. Her being a 6 defense actually could matter since a lot of things don't really swing that high. So that's very, very nice, and 2-drop, very, very easily replaceable. Okay, moving down, what I would call kind of like the MVP of the deck, and it's pretty obvious since it contains Best Girl on it. We have Rebirth player Chiharu. So this is where like the traits start to matter here. So she is Skill Showcase level 6 Go-Go Stew specifically. So the Go-Go Stew trait. So that means any trial deck or booster set card with Yu, Shuko, or Chiharu on it. So continuous Skill Showcase level 6 Go-Go Stews. Your entry gets +1/+0, and if you have a rebirth set, it also gains +0/+1. So I've used it mainly more for the first ability since the second was a little unreliable. But if it pops off as an extra defense, especially since we do play 4 continuous power-up rebirths for defense. We'll get to that when we actually get to the rebirths. So this is very, very nifty to just have like a very, very easy buff to your entries in the mid to late game. So that extra 1 attack could definitely make or break it. Alright, continuing down in level 2s, we are also playing Go-Go Stews Chiharu. So she's a blocker specifically for the Go-Go Stews trait. So blockers are good for just because we know we're going to be taking partner attacks. We might as well be able to use regular blockers to fend off those pesky normal attacks. Maybe also use them early game if we see an entry in that's like very, very cheap and we want to protect it. So like a 2-drop Chiharu or Yu or something, there's about to get attacked. You just go, nah, I'm gonna try to save it to allow me to retreat it to an empty slot on my next turn sort of deal. Alrighty. So moving along, we are also playing a playset of Middle School Genius Shuko. So she's a cancel for any spark ability that's not on a rebirth. So I like to use cancels to be able to stop things like draw sparks when the opponent's really, really falling behind in terms of hand size, or something like the trial deck Aya in Toho Project, just to prevent the opponent from getting extra chance at popping off additional chances at like healing or nuking me or something like that, or something like me not kill Aqua and Hololive, prevent them from just getting all sorts of advantage from setting rebirths for free. It would just be, this is just very, very powerful to have. I think cancels seem to be a little underrated, but that could just be me. But yeah, we play 4, just gotta have all the protection we can against opponents' BS. Especially when your guys are playing like more than several snipes. And speaking of snipes, we do need to play members that can retreat for free. So we are also playing Sleepy Time U at 2 copies. So a Steel Showcase level 3 Spark. You may move this to an empty member slot. This can definitely come in handy early game. It can come in handy in the mid to late game after your opponent has blown up your members in the back. This is a very, very nice and cheap way to get some extra bodies into your back row without having to spend additional energy that could otherwise be used for abilities, or not have to rest your partners for energy sort of deal. So that is very, very nice to have. And again, just like Yu Higashiyama, that beefy 6 defense can definitely matter. Okay, and to finish off our cost 2s, we're also playing 2 copies of Today's Recommendation Chiharu. She's from the Teaching deck, or the Start deck, for Rebirth for You. So now one key thing to keep in mind here, well, 2 things. First, you can definitely replace this with something like the Trial deck Owl if you don't have access to these. I just went to Owl my way to get these because Chiharu, best girl, and 2, you might notice that she has only 1 trait. She has only the Tabasaki girls, or Tabasaki high school trait. She does not have the Go-Go Stews trait, so she will not count for anything. Like, she will not count for skill showcase that say Go-Go Stew specific, like Rebirth player Chiharu, nor is she blockable by your Go-Go Stew's Chiharu blocker. So keep that in mind. We're just really playing these because we're playing these as our 5th and 6th member snipe. Because being able to I built this deck to be able to control board, as we're going to see as we get towards the top end. This is like one of our ways to control board. And, it's a standard 2-drop 3/4 that pops opponent's members. Really, really nice to have. But again, keep in mind, does not have the Go-Go Stews trait, so be careful with that. And the one that does have the Go-Go Stews trait is Sleepy Time Chiharu. So she has the same ability as Today's Recommendation Chiharu's. So they both say Spark Skill Showcase level 3. This one does say specifically Go-Go Stews, of course. Today's Recommendation just says Skill Showcase level 3, period. So they just both choose a opposing member, send it to waiting room. Again, just really, really nice to just control board, and I let you have extra. Just having 6 different ways to do it for free on characters is very, very nice in my opinion. Unfortunately, I cannot be like Hololive and play 16 of these things, but I could theoretically do it, but why would I, kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, we just want to control board with our Chiharus. Okay, and continuing on with our cost 3s, we also have Shuko in plain clothes at a playset. She just has Spark Skill Showcase level 3 Go-Go Stews, draw 1 card. Card advantage is king in any card game, and that definitely goes true for Rebirth for You. So we definitely do want to see these pop up. And she also has a pretty beefy 4/6 stat line, so that's pretty good on the 3-drop of all things. And hey, she can help us get us closer to our blockers and rebirths that we need to combo off or something. So very, very useful. Definitely playing a key role in my tournament run. Okay. And moving on to our cost 4s, we again play 3 copies of the Chu or Childhood Friends Yu from the trial deck. So this is it's a very nifty card for 2 reasons. So she can recombo with any rebirth. She does not require anything specific, and she still has to go through straight as with the other trial deck cards that represent Shuko, Yu, and Chiharu. And it's also a it's also an alternate way to close out games besides our primary finisher that we will get to later. So, we play 3 copies that kind of serve as like our 5th through 7th copies of our finisher, so recombo whenever she successfully retires a character, whether it be a normal attack or a partner attack. She gets +2/+0 until the end of the turn. So, that just really makes her into a steamroll finisher. And I really like this card. This card is definitely proving to work pretty well. Just really take advantage of the fact that she can be used with any rebirth to just gain immense amounts of attack to go for big damage or the finishing blow. So I really do like that. Okay, finishing off cost 4th, we're also playing Fried Skewers Restaurant Poster Girl Chiharu. So she has a recombo with our Heal Rebirth Fried Chicken Skewers Restaurant Poster Girl. It's a heal one, so on attack once per turn, recombo with that. If my opponent has 3 or more members, I may pick one of them and put it to the waiting room. And if they do not have 3 members because it's too early in the game, or I sniped one out and they couldn't replace it by the time it got around to my turn to attack or something, I will just simply draw 1 card. So Chiharu is very good to either control the board or assist in your card advantage. So I really do like that, and a 5/7 stat line is nothing to scoff at. So that's very nice. Alright. Then we're gonna finish it off with none other than, of course, Rebirth Player Yu, the main finisher of the deck. So just continuous recombo with Aim for the National Tournament, which is our revenge rebirth. So when we spark this rebirth in via entry in, based on the number of cards in our retire area, we may choose that many opposing entries and members and put them to the waiting room. And continuous, our entry gets +1/+1. So it's very handy with cards like, very handy with something like Rebirth Player Chiharu, because this is a +1 defense constant. Chiharu will give that entry another 1 defense for a total of 2. So it's very nice when defending. But anyway, going back to Rebirth Player Yu here, continuous recombo with that. She gets +1/+0 for each of your Go-Go Stews members. So again, today's recommendation, Chiharu, you gotta be a little careful when playing it, or you're using the trial deck Owl to fill that spot. Neither of them count as the Go-Go Stews trait, so do keep that in mind. So +1/+0 with that. So with a full board and this rebirth, she's attacking for 9 before any other things taken into account. That defeats almost everything in the game, honestly speaking. Now, the thing that makes her very neat is when you do hit 6 retire when you use this, she will be able to make her first attack such that she does not need to be supported, allowing her to attack 4 times a turn, which can definitely prove fatal. So I really do like it. In worst case where recombo, she just simply gets big. She gets pretty big. 9 is nothing to scoff at before your members' abilities and so on. And the when you're at 6 retire thing, that's just icing on the cake to just really give yourself that extra chance to go for the finish there. Right, so that is the deck profile. So the main strategy of the deck is simply to, as I said, control the board state with things like your member sparks, like our two Chiharus here, or our recombo off of Poster Girl Chiharu, and of course we also play a playset of Revenge. So we have plenty of ways to deal with our opponent's boards, while we also have ways to help ourselves. We have things like Shuko, Shuko in plain clothes to draw cards, and again, as I mentioned earlier, Chiharu is like a dual role. She either controls the board state or she gets us extra cards into hand, both of which are very, very nice in my opinion. I prefer to play that over the Draw 2 middle school genius Shuko Rebirth that draws 2 and +3/+0 on the first attack. I find this to be a little unreliable, and I want to be able to have the chance to heal. If I had to, I definitely wanted to play Revenge Rebirth for sure. So I just decided that Revenge Rebirth and Heal Rebirth were my best choices going forward. So we just do what we can to simply, amass card advantage, get guys on the board, and we also, just aim to just kind of gain enough advantage so that we can increase the chances that we go for game with our, we have ways to power our entries up with our first entry, with Shuko, with Trial Gekyu, Rebirth Player Chiharu, all that good stuff. And we also play as many defensive cards as possible, 4 blockers, 4 cancels to just do what we can to just simply increase our chances of survival, add that extra security when our opponent attempts to activate a spark that we don't want to resolve, and then use Shuko cancel against it. So, we just want to do what we can to make sure that we can truly push for game when push comes to shove. Just really stay ahead and card advantage, try not to take too much damage and pop our abilities off, kind of thing. So that all being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to my event breakdown. So round 1 I have played against a familiar face from the Rebirth for You TCG Global Community Server. He played a Toho Project build. It was based around mainly the embodiment of Scarlet Devil trait. We had the Remilia, Gig top 3. She has that Rebirth that it's kind of like a Sniper Rebirth sort of thing, if I remember correctly. So that could have been anyone's game, but I was able to take it in the end. Just doing what I can to take out my opponent's members and keeping mine alive. Alright, moving into round 2, I played against another Toho player. Unfortunately, this time I was forced to go second, and my entry ins that turn were very, very weak against his turn 1 entry in. So I definitely lost momentum early on, and that just came to bite me back in the rear end, and I had to take the L there. Alright, moving forward, I had to play against another Toho matchup. Again, this is also another embodiment of Scarlet Devil build. My opponent was a very, very, give what she can to, put the pressure on, but, things were kind of not really going her way after a while, and I just did what I can to capitalize on that, and, just push for game from there. And, so, 2-1 going to round 4, I finally get to play against my first non-Toho matchup. It was a Hololive matchup. The details are a little murky on this one. I didn't quite write all the notes down or anything for this, but it was starting off pretty even at first, but then I managed to I ended up, just really kind of control my opponent's board state. Use coach cancels, coach blockers, that sort of thing. Just do what I can to push myself for game there. So I got the win against Hololive. Alright, and then after 4 rounds, we were getting in the top 16. So I had played against Gochi Usa. This was more the Ama Usa on and the Fleur de Lapin build that includes Chia and Sharo. Um, I'm trying to remember, but it definitely felt that my opponent was able to get some things going for him at first, but eventually I was able to push through, take the win from there. It's not too bad of a matchup. All right, top 8, I played against another familiar face, Hololive again, and oh boy, early game, my opponent popped off so many different sparks that sniped my members out, that starting to make board again, and a couple of mine were going off too. But obviously the guy was playing like at least 12, 16, I don't know. And eventually he pulled off the Hakshama board state. Hakshama is, when you support with her, you may suck one of your members up. Basically, I don't remember the exact test, but you basically do like a 1-for-1. You suck one of your members up to put one of your opponent's members into their energy, and just a combination of Hakshama with Spark Skill Showcase level 3, choose one of your opponent's members as Twitch waiting room. Those were really making things quite grindy game. And Hakshama, she's 12. You have no members. She's 12 defense and cannot be partner attacked. So it took me some time to figure out a feel to be able to attack 3 times with 4s to be able to knock her into the retire, and eventually enough Shuko in plain clothes went off for me to draw more cards and eventually guarantee my victory from there. Moving from that intense game, move on to round 4 against Banging Garpa Pico. It was a pastel palettes build, has some pretty beefy cards, like there was like a 9 defense Aya, a 7 defense Hina, so those popping in early was not too good for me, but eventually I was able to put my opponent at a bit of a disadvantage as my cards kept popping off for me to deal with his board or gain card advantage to Shuko or something, and in the end I was able to take it. Then we move on to finals. It's against Azure Lane, the Eagle Union build. My opponent for finals was definitely a good sport. He was definitely a very capable player. Because, some people think like, oh man, you're crazy trying to make Eagle Union work. What the heck? No, I'm not. You don't underestimate Eagle Union, period. They can do some scary things with like Enterprise and all. So yeah, game 1 I had to take the L. I had a bit of bad early momentum, and just like with round 2 with the Toho matchup, that just came to bite me back in the rear end when I was just falling behind in damage. So I had to take the loss there. I then chose to go second for game 2 because I wanted to have the extra energy to be able to make my board earlier and pop off some abilities earlier if applicable. But I was able to grind things out. Definitely picked up on what my opponent's trying to do with the Eagle Union cards and stuff. Because Azure Lane's not exactly a very familiar title I'm very familiar with versus say the OG4 or something. But yeah, so I take game 2 by that. Game 3, oh man, was really intense. My opponent, just like myself after I lost, chose to go second, so I go first. Gets just direct with me, I'm able to get to my skill showcase earlier because I'll be taking damage first, or I'll be taking more damage after I do like 1 or 2 to my opponent. And it was quite back and forth. I was able to pop off Rebirth player U at 6 retire, but but my opponent ended up healing when my opponent was at 4 at the beginning of my attack phase that turn. He healed down after the use unsupported attack, and he would block one of the other normal attacks, so he would be left at 6 to my 6. Luckily, I was able to draw enough blockers to be able to defend against two normal attacks, and I think I also healed down at some point. I don't remember like exactly where, but it was definitely a very very intense game. But I was able to make the final push and take the title of champion for myself from there. So in terms of overall final thoughts, like matchup sort of thing, just do what you can to identify key members for the decks you're playing against. Snipe things out strategically if you have them. Block and cancel based on just think about like is the thing actually worth blocking, or if it's like as I say, if it's a low cost character that you want to retreat on your next turn, definitely go for the block there. And, for cancels, I usually prefer to cancel things that would give my opponent more significant advantage than something like +2/+2 until the end of the turn. Like, okay, I don't really care about that for the most part, unless I'm trying to push for a game, then sure. Alright, that all being said, gotta go through this big shout outs. We definitely have to end this off with shout outs. So, first I want to give a shout out to my fellow moderators and admins at the Rebirth for You TCG Global Community Discord. So we got Yuri Kuma. Megan is also my teammate here at the Chuni Clan. You already know him from watching our channel streams on Twitch, as well as we have that D4DJ primer video that he made some time back. We also have Venus. These three are very, very awesome people to work with. I'm very glad to be doing what I can to contribute to running the community with them. So, for that, really, really appreciate all the hard work they put in to build this thriving community. They've been really, really awesome folks to work with. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Of course, I also gotta thank all the members in both the Rebirth for You TCG Global Community Discord and the Facebook group. It's been awesome to be able to interact with you folks, to talk Rebirth, talk anime, the card games, just having fun, being able to enjoy Rebirth in a time where we cannot really play in person in general, being able to do things like online tournaments, still talk about theory crafting and all this other good stuff. It's been really, really, it's been a blast to interact with you folks there. And of course, I give shout-outs to each of the members of the Trinity Clan, Megan A, Darkness, Edgeworth, Yune, and Yokai. They definitely have been there through me with, through thick and thin. We've started up this team. Maybe we haven't done too much together, but, they've been very, very awesome friends. They've been very, very supportive. And, especially special thanks to Megan A. We had a time where we were doing a little run back series thing where I challenged him on a 1v1 for Rebirth for You. He defeated me pretty well because at the time I was building my Rebirth decks in a very, very terrible way, where I'm playing I was really heavy on my cost 3s and higher cards, so that was definitely a terrible idea. And Megan A defeating me that time was definitely an eye-opener, so special thanks to him for opening up my eyes in those series of games so that I don't make the same mistake moving forward. So I do thank him for that. I just want to thank all the members of the Trinity Clan for being so supportive of what I do in terms of competing in card game tournaments and all that good stuff. So really, really appreciate that they have my back. And of course, I got a bunch of other friends. I got Barrow, I got Tempest. These two have been very, very supportive of my competitive pursuits. So we're really glad to have their moral support in that regard. And, of course, shout outs to the folks at Heart of the Cards for being able to organize an online event for us to play competitive Rebirth for You. And, they ran the event very, very smoothly. There were basically no hiccups as I can remember for the most part that were caused by them specifically. So, I'm very, very glad that they were able to figure out a way to run a very, very smooth online event. And I'm really glad to see that there are people who are just passionate about Bushiroad TCGs, passionate about Rebirth for You. And I definitely look forward when we can actually compete in person again. So, definitely looking forward to that. So with that all said and done, I want to go ahead and thank everyone for watching. If you like what you saw, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and with that, continue to embrace the darkness, and I will catch you all next time. Bye bye.